Alright guys, so welcome officially to the Clan Milk $2,500 tournament. I'm Zyori doing a little bit of solo coverage here over on ZyoriTV. Of course, there are plenty of other streams underway as well. I believe HonCast just went live. That is your cup of tea. I believe Mr. Breaky CPK is casting with some of the new applicants, some of the new co-casters that applied for the job. So it should be interesting over there on HonCast. Going to be solo casting it over here today. Don't have a co-caster right now, but you never know. Maybe if there's some sort of an upset, one of these pros will hop on. You never know. Don't even know how many games we're covering. Actually just hopped right into this one. So as you can see, locks and bans and some picks have already gone underway, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we're up to. So of course this is a lock picking tournament. One of the catches of this event to get to know lock picking a little bit better. The new competitive picking phase. This is going to be the official drafting style for HoN Tour and future tournaments, as well as upcoming dream hacks, I think. So kind of the wave of the future. If you don't like it, that's really unfortunate, because banning pick is definitely going to become a thing of the past. So of course, we do start out with the blind bans. The Legion side, Team Dog going to be banning Tundra and Silhouette. And over on the Hellborn side of things, SQS. Let's see, who is that here? Q Squad. Alright, so Q, that's our QSQ. Wow, that's terrible for dyslexic folks like myself. Alright, so anyhow, they are going to ban Bubbles Dark Ladies. Interesting to see that blind band used on Dark Ladies. Certainly not too common. After that, the locks do come out. We are going to see a Luna, Magmus, Nymphora, Meraxis, Revenant, and Jerizaya here in the locking pool. So for those of you that aren't too familiar with the lock picking way of doing things, only 4 of those 6 heroes will be on the board, but 4 of them are required. So it should be kind of interesting to see which one of those, or which 4 of those heroes come out onto the board. Revenant in particular is quite interesting. I actually really hope he's in this game, because that'll give us a lot to talk about, and there are some really interesting things that you can do with Revenant. We saw some pretty cool Revenant play in the DreamHoN qualifiers, I think. That ended up being really quite awesome. So we'll see, we'll see. Anyway, the picking phase now well underway, or no, pardon me, after that, I jumped ahead. The open banning phase now. Armadon, Magemane, Wretched Hag, Kronos, Tempest, and Polywog Priest. So it seems this Hellborn side really afraid of the hard carries. Kind of, I don't know what to make of that. Dark Lady, Magemane, and Kronos all banned by our Hellborn side, so they by no means are interested in stretching this game out. It would seem, at least not having to worry about the hard carries in the late game. Oh, look at this nice guy, throwing out the compliments. So anyhow, looking at the official picks now, though, Pebbles was first picked by Team Dog. The follow-up picks after that were Midas, Electrician. This Hellborn side definitely doing some interesting stuff with the drafting. We did get to see Midas in, I think it was the Grand Poobah yesterday morning. If you haven't checked out those VODs, they are on YouTube on ZyoriTV 1. Certainly should check those out. We did see some Midas play, though, from TT Esports. Unfortunately, it didn't really go that well for them. Midas is not one that really fits into our current metagame so well, at least not in my opinion. We can talk about Midas quite a bit when we get into the game. He's fresh on my mind from the other day. So Corrupted Disciple going to be the last to join that Hellborn roster for those first 3 picks. And Parasite Torture there for Team Dog, so a lot of magic damage output, a lot of crowd control as well. That makes me very, very nervous for a Mr. Midas over there. So we're going to see now the locks getting picked up here, and this last pick is going to be the interesting one. I have a feeling they're going to go for Nymphora, and it's probably going to be a low chance that we're going to see Revenant here. Of course, Meraxis was the first one picked. Yeah, but there it is, Nymphora. You cannot pass up Nymphora Pebbles, although Revenant is quite the fun hero. Not going to happen. Likewise, for the Hellborn side, Magmus and a Luna going to be those last 2 picks. No surprise there whatsoever. A Luna, as I've been saying over and over as of late, it feels like she's been the talk of the town. She just brings it all to the table. It seems rare to find a game these days where Luna is not either banned or picked. I honestly can't remember the last time that happened. It's been a while. So you have to excuse me as I kind of look back and forth. As you saw in the pregame, there was some problem with my flash, so my chat is open on my secondary computer over here. Yep. So, of course, the delay server is active. It is tricky to keep up with chat, but I'll check it from time to time just to make sure, you know, any super bad lag issues or anything. Certainly always a possibility. And yes, fresh install, as you can see, a fresh format here. Whoops, that is not what I meant to do. So let's switch our presets. I'm going to do a little live production here, as I actually didn't load a replay to get things prepped up. And we have a pause anyhow. Looks like, I don't know, some sort of graphics bug all across the boards here. So that'll give us plenty of time to play with our graphics, get everything all set up exactly the way we want them. Clan Milk, Zyori. And there we have it. So I have to say, I am favoring this Legion team's lineup just a little bit. They are definitely looking a little bit more deadly. Just looking at their heroes in general, I mean, anytime you see that Nymphora Pebbles mix, it's always a little bit scary. I mean, that's one of those combos that everybody knows is deadly, and pretty much the rule is don't let your opponents get that at all costs. I was sort of surprised to see D0G able to pick up Pebbles' first pick, and then with Nymphora still in the lock. Seems just a little bit sloppy for QSQ to let that happen, given that you know so much ahead of time. You know Nymphora is locked, you know Pebbles is still on the board, you have a couple bans, you need to sort of see those things. You're like, okay, they're going to be going for this combo. If we leave it on the board, let's do something about it. But alas, they did not, and well, Pebbles Nymphora is going to be something they're going to have to deal with here. And the difference, I just like the lanes a lot better for this Allegiance side. I'm going to guess they'll do Nymphora Pebbles, Parasite in the jungle, and then we'll see a solo Meraxis and Torturer, which are all great. Two great solo heroes, great jungler, and the best lane combo, in my humble opinion. Over on the Hellborn side, though, what are they going to do in the way of lanes? I'm going to guess a solo Electrician here, but other than that, they have a lot of options exactly how they want to set this up. May opt for a tri-lane as well. They could do an Aluna Magmus Corrupted Disciple tri-lane, and then possibly solo Electrician and Midas. But we'll see. Definitely a little bit more difficult, and I guess since we have another pause here, this gives us another opportunity to talk about Midas a little bit. And part of the problem with Midas right now is that he's one hero that really benefits from early experience. He needs to hit level 6 pretty much as quickly as possible to still be a really prevalent hero. Before then, he doesn't bring any crowd control. Midas was really strong right when he was released, but he's been beat upside the head with the nerf stick quite a bit. If you'll note here, his starting armor is remarkably low, sitting at 1.4. And you'll also note that this Midas didn't pick up a Guardian Ring, which I would already coin as possibly a mistake, depending on how they opt to lane this. The Crushing Claws is great. I mean, he is a little bit tankier now, but his problem isn't in his health pool because he is a strength hero. His problem is in well, a couple of things. The attack range is one of his problems, but the armor, that's really the big issue. Only 8% reduction there is giving him absolutely nothing. So that really limits his laning presence. He can get out-harassed by pretty much anyone. His limited range as well makes it very difficult for him to keep up with any sort of aggressive lane opponent, especially anyone who outranges him, which is quite a few heroes that you tend to see kind of in a long lane situation. So he's a hero that really needs to be solo because he needs that experience, but he can't really handle it. He almost needs a babysitter to have that lane presence to make it possible. Well, looks like we'll have plenty of time to talk about it again here, as I think we are going to have a remake. Unfortunately, there's some sort of connection issue. I guess an unstable server of sorts. So that's kind of unfortunate here. We'll have to sit waiting. You okay with that, Zyori? Just re-invite? It's not like I have anything else to do. It's already remade, so we don't have too many other options here. But yeah, just to kind of finish that thought, we'll talk about it again once we get into the game. But you know, where do you put Midas? How do you lane him? Where does he fit into rosters? Those are the sort of questions that are tricky to answer with that hero. His laning presence just isn't there. One thing that he does do, he has a lot of creep clearing potential. Does a lot of AoE damage. He does still have a pretty solid escape mechanism with that elemental warp, of course. So he does have some positives. He can be a really good initiator too. He's sort of like Pestilence. If he can get a good start, he can be pretty good, but his lane presence isn't really that great, and his farming tools aren't really that great either. So it's kind of, he needs those core items, but he doesn't have the effective tools to farm those core items in a really good manner, just sort of in the average all things equal game. Kind of like the old Vindicator. That was one of his big problems, where he could carry, but he needed all those additional items, all that farm, to really be able to carry well, and he didn't have any effective tools to help him farm, especially when you compare him to heroes like Dark Lady, who have charging strikes and all those other abilities that buff upper damage and make farming that much easier. That's just my problem with Midas. I haven't seen a successful Midas in quite a while. I mean, Midas can be successful if you just outplay them. I mean, he is certainly a snowball hero. He can snowball quite well. I feel like a Midas Nymphora lane might actually be cool if someone could pull that off and have Nymphora as a really aggressive babysitter and kind of weave back and forth out of the lane, like keep pulling it to take lane control so that he gets like 75% of the solo experience or something. That could actually be quite powerful. The thing about Midas, once he gets those core items, if he gets the portal key as well as the Ring of Sorcery, he becomes a pretty powerful initiator. With that Transmute ultimate, he can catch 2-3 heroes fairly easily if they're in a bad position, and that can be a great way to initiate for a Tempest ultimate. That can open up windows for your Tempest to not have to rush portal key, because if you can get that initiation, Tempest can go something nice and defensive, like an early Astrolabe, all that kind of stuff. So, not all bad when it comes to Midas, but I feel like I haven't really seen a team play it right to really be able to execute a strong Midas play and come out successful. Like I said, TT Esports played random Midas in their setup in the Grand Poobah this morning against BWI. I believe it was in the second game. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil too much, but if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It was interesting. I think I pretty much reiterated right now the same stuff I said earlier, so that part will be a little bit monotonous, but it's a pretty good example of just why Midas just gets shut down in lane, and it's I don't know, it just seems like a really good case as to why that Midas has those problems. Dread to head proportions. Oh man. QSQ is Nova's new scrim tag? Is that true? Is that really true? Let's see here. Oh my god, it really is. Oh, snap. Is one of these players Nova? I wonder. That makes me wonder a little bit. Huh. Well, alright, so QSQ, Mr. X-Fanatic Nova is tagged up with them, which certainly is interesting. Maybe if they make it a little ways into this tournament, Nova will join them. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like an IRL friend kind of a thing. Huh. Who knows? Sorry. Oh, I missed a message on Skype. How embarrassing. Okay, so here we are finally into the game, so sorry about that. Looks like everyone is good, at least so far in this game. The connection issues they were having seem to have been solved. So of course we are here in round 1 of the Clan Milk $2,500 HoN tournament on this fine Saturday afternoon. I'm Zyori solo casting it, at least for now. We may add somebody in here before too long, but not to worry. There are plenty of other streams to enjoy as well. Plenty of people streaming first-person point of view also, which you can check out at ZyoriTV. So let's go ahead and get right into this game and see what these teams are up to. Team Dog over here on the Legion side, starting off nice and aggressive. Looks like they're itching for an early bloodlust, at least potentially. As I always say, unfortunately, they have Parasite with them, who is pretty much useless in this kind of a situation, but nonetheless, he is with them up here. Doesn't look like they're going to bump into anybody. Hellborn's side is going to opt for this tri-lane. As I did mention, that is an option. Luna, Magnus, and Corrupted Disciple going to take the long lane. Midas going to solo mid, and then that is going to leave Electrician to solo top here in the close lane. Legion lane's going to line up here. Looks like Mirax is going to be down here in the bottom, so a couple of options for the Legion team. They can either rotate things around and kind of do a pseudo tri-lane of their own with that Parasite to try and combat this, or they can just sacrifice the lane and say, alright, Miraxis, just try to avoid death, sit in the lane, and just do your thing as best you can, and try not to feed that Corrupted Disciple any more than he's already going to be. And we'll see how they opt to react. It sort of depends how hard they shut down this top lane. Electrician is definitely going to be a difficult target to take out, but Parasite may be enough to help them out, and Amphora Pebbles very well suited for it. Now, one thing I do want to note about Midas here, he is pretty well suited for the mid lane because it's hard to push him out of experience range. Of course, the mid lane is a little bit shorter, so you can kind of pick up experience no matter what. I did note, though, it could be a little bit scary that he doesn't have a Guardian ring. Torture are going to be very aggressive, as we see poking in already, and as long as he keeps that up, this is going to be really, really rough for Midas. As always in the mid lane, though, it's all about rune control, and that little bit of RNG can definitely make it or break it. Our Legion side does have a rune ward down already. No rune wards down for the Hellborn side, so we're going to have to be very wary of the runes. Up at the top lane, though, already nice and aggressive on this Electrician. So like I said, sort of tri-lane on tri-lane almost, although Parasite in the jungle sort of a 2.5 on one side and tri-lane down here. Naturally, Corrupted Disciple going to be picking up a lot of farm, though. Maybe not as much as I thought. It's already been quite some time and only 3 creep kills. Looks like he has missed a couple or so of any of his supports. Jacked 1 or 2. No, they haven't. So hopefully Corrupted Disciple steps up his last hitting a little bit here. Looks like Electrician may fall in the top. Down he goes. Parasite going to scoot on in there to get the last hit, and he's going to be able to survive as well. So Dog here on the Legion team off to a good start. Looks like their little tri-lane setup is working slightly better, at least for now. Doing keep close tabs on this mid lane. I still think this Torture could be harassing quite a bit more. I mean, with mana and auto attacks. A little bit of a mistake, what can I say? Especially just because this Midas doesn't have a Guardian ring. That's really what makes the difference. You see Torture starting with 3 armor. It just makes a big difference when you talk about that harass over an extended period of time. You know, Midas going Crushing Claw, sort of an interesting starting build. Not bad, just, I don't know, Guardian ring seems to be the way most people are going. Do you see Rune going to spawn? It is going to be a regeneration spawning in the top, and neither player picking up that bottle quite yet, so this first Rune not going to be too serious. And there is actually a Hellborn ward down now as well. So Rune control, like I said, going to be always going to be important in the mid lane. Looks like we're shaping up for a relatively quiet game here, though. Both tri-lanes playing relatively defensively, just sitting back and farming. Of course, Parasite is spending quite a bit of time in the jungle, but down here, Magmus and Aluna looking like they're going to start spreading out. May try to roam to the mid to set something up, recognizing that the tri-lane's being wasted a little bit down here, really just holding Corrupted Disciple back as far as experience is concerned, and not doing a hell of a lot to buff up his farm because Meraxis has already been pushed back so far. They probably could have been a little bit more aggressive and pushed him out of experience range. But still, the point is the same. Their presence down here really wasn't too meaningful. So if they can move around, maybe set up a gank, set up a victory for their mid lane hero Midas, that could be absolutely huge. Like I said as well, I mean, Midas, a hero that does need a little bit of support. If they can come in and pick up a kill on the Torturer, that could really change the state of things in this mid lane. It is pushed up in a pretty nice position, so they are just waiting for this opportunity maybe to make it happen. Though Torturer is going to smell that something fishy could be about, given there are 2 heroes missing, but uh-oh, he could walk right into it. Torturer, what are you doing, good buddy? Heart skate. Ooh, he's playing with fire here. He's not going to get engaged on, but making those opportunities a possibility at least. This is definitely sticky business. Magmus playing very passively here. Aluna has left the lane. So many chances to jump on that Torturer, but Heart skate is going to be able to survive. So, like I said, playing with fire, but maybe going to luck out just a little bit. Let's take a look here. Like I said, still a pretty quiet game. The Legion side getting the better of the farm. Let's take a look at the GPM chart, see how things are looking. Parasite in great shape, especially since he started off with that Bloodlust pick-me-up, so he's still kind of reaping the benefits of that. Pebbles, though, picking up pretty much free farm here in the top lane, well above 300 GPM, in pretty good shape. And that is going to be something scary for the Hellborn side to deal with. But down here in the bottom, Meraxis going to get engaged on the tri-lane, going to step things up a little bit. I don't know if they're going to have enough damage to finish him off. The Quake going to connect with 2 of the 3 heroes. Of course, no ultimate from Meraxis as he's only level 4, but just not enough damage coming out. So this kind of the problem with this Hellborn lineup that I wasn't quite understanding. Looking at the draft, you're going to see the top lane Electrician get taken out again as Parasite moves into the lane. Very nicely done, furthering the lead here for the Legion side. But that's why, sort of looking at the drafting here, I was like, alright, the Hellborn side could do a tri-lane, but why. What purpose for this tri-lane? And this is sort of why, you know, they're not quite aggressive enough to really set up kills. Magnus and Luna have just sort of been running around and haven't done anything too meaningful. And in a situation like this where you have a tri-lane or two roaming supports, you either want to make sure that carry is getting absolute free fire, which he is here, but generally you'd like to be able to set up some of those kills, capitalize on some of those opportunities. Magnus and Luna not being able to find an opportunity on Torture is really kind of holding them back, especially since Electrician has lost the top lane in their close lane. They need to win this bottom lane, which they are, but instead of it being a break-even where both carries are farming, and the Legion team is pulling way ahead because, unfortunately, Electrician has not been able to avoid death. So it looks like Luna is going to roam up to the top, though, to try and support Electrician a little bit, and I think this is definitely the smart play. Magnus is definitely a force that can continue to keep Meraxes pushed back. Though still surprised to see Meraxes picking up as much experience as he has. That's certainly good news for him. I think that means Corrupted Disciple supports probably weren't quite as aggressive as they could have been, but still good news for Meraxes nonetheless. Pebble's going straight for the Ring of Sorcery, so not going to rush the Portal Key by any means. Going to continue to soak up this farm. Going to delay things just a little bit, but still recognizing this farm is good enough to make that a possibility. Midas not picking up his bottle and boots. Torturer in kind of a similar situation does have a bottle, but no boots at the moment. 6-minute rune is going to spawn. It's not going to be top. Midas does have a haste though, and this could be bad for Torturer. As I noted in the mid lane, it's all about that rune control, as they are the wild card factor that can turn things around. And a haste rune is, generally speaking, going to be a kill. Midas doing a lot of damage here. Magnus is on his way in. I don't know if he's going to get here in time. Torturer is going to fall into the hands of solo Midas. And Magnus going to come in here as well, so this Parasite needs to be a little bit careful. He is inside a Wild Hunter, so he's magic immune for the moment. And 4 going to come down here as well. Parasite going to hop out, and there could be a little skirmish here as things continue to unfold. That's not going to happen. Up in the top lane, more action though. Luna taking some damage, but Electrician going to go in onto Pebbles there. No kill going to come out as we move into the first pause of this match, though of course we were in a remake, so rather unfortunate. We're stuck in another pause. Alrighty. This looks like Ray's going to have a short DC here. Not so bad. If only Flash was not retarded on my computer here. Go over here. I'm really curious about who's casting on the Honcast stream. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it depends how things go. But I would be down at some point, just like, all right, cast a couple of matches. Now, well, let's just watch Honcast. I'm really curious to see how many people have applied. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people applied for that position, so I'm just curious to see who they've pulled out, who's looking like the best of the best. Should be rather interesting. Anyhow, we are going to resume here. Looks like Torturer has reconnected, so that is good news. And looking at the farms here, Midas is actually doing quite well in the mid lane, and I think that's a little bit more of fail on Torturer's part than big plays on Midas's part. You know, not to say Torturer is failing per se, but Midas really shouldn't have had as good a time as he did. This Torturer could have afforded to be much more aggressive with those abilities and just continue to chip him down. You see Midas is still unbelievably low armor. Torturer going to be leveling up Agonizing Bonds, which isn't a bad choice here, but unfortunately it does magic damage. Impalement does physical, so it is going to be slightly better against Midas. You know, that Impalement is going to be physical and is going to be slightly better against Midas. He does have Elemental Warp, of course, kind of nullifying the effectiveness of it, but I think that added damage does pose interesting math equation, at least. Here we're going to see some engagement here up at the top lane, and it looks like the Legion side is going to come out ahead as they do pick up a kill onto Magnus there. Parasite going to be the one to actually pick up that kill yet again, so that is more good news for the Legion side as the top lane continues to struggle. Still that wild card, or not the wild card, the saving grace almost, if you will, or wait, what am I talking about? Not the saving grace, the opposite of the saving grace for the Hellborn side, the thing that's holding them back. Like I said, Midas kind of the saving grace. Midas with the rune control here, I don't know what has been really the factor. I guess the fact that Torturer has no boots right now. Midas has now finished his steam boot, so he has absolute rune control, of course, with that double damage rune right now. And looks like there's an 8-minute rune that spawned as well. There's going to be a haste up at the top. It has been checked at the bottom by Magnus, so they know it's in the top. It's not warded, but I have a feeling Midas is just going to roam on up there. And we saw what happened last time he picked up that haste rune. It was a free kill on the Torture practically. So, again, you really got to be careful with these runes. This Legion team would just be dominating right now if they had better rune control, if they had someone assisting this Torture, at least protecting them for him, or at the very least preventing Midas from picking up. Oftentimes, the defensive route there where you're just doing that prevention is actually more powerful than getting them yourself, depending on which rune it actually is, but that is certainly one way to go about it. We are going to see Parasite roam to the mid lane here, so perhaps they will try to set something up onto Midas. There's the face hug. It is going to steal the haste. This is going to be bad news bears for Midas. Beautiful agonizing balance from Torture going to come out, though Midas still may be able to survive. Did miss a kill up in the top lane, but more action going to continue here in the mid. Looks like they are going to try to go on to Magnus, but now Luna going to come in. Magnus going to take the leech. He does have a lava surge, so he should be okay. Parasite going to hop inside that creep and will survive. Up in the top, we did miss Electrician getting taken out. Looks like it was Nymphora who actually picked up the kill. Of course, that tower did fall as well. Nymphora is going to port somewhere, though. It is going to be down to the bottom lane. Corrupted Disciple may find himself in trouble. Pebble's going to get some mana. Looks like Corrupted Disciple is going to get caught by the combo. Down he goes. Too much magic damage for him to handle. Beautifully done by Team Dog right there. Of course, Nymphora setting that up, utilizing that ultimate. She's sitting level 7, sitting pretty right now, and it looks like they are just going to be able to pressure this bottom tower as well. If they could pick up back-to-back tier 1 towers, that could be absolutely fantastic. Pebbles, of course, now finished up his Steam Boots. He's going to be moving into that portal key relatively quickly here, just about 400 gold off or so, so he is in absolutely great shape. Again, glancing at that GPM chart, looking a little bit scary for the Hellborn side. Kind of unfortunate there indeed. But it looks like they may be able to take out this tower. Still no defenses coming. Well, another wave of creeps going to come in, and sort of a mistake, in my opinion, to use the glyph and then not go for the defense. You know, if you're going to use the glyph like that, you want to time it so everybody can port in and then set up a deny on the tower. Killing the mid lane here, coming out. Unfortunately, Aluna's going to get taken down. Might just going to man up onto Parasite a little bit, but not going to be able to set up a kill. You're going to see some engagement down here in the bottom lane. Mirax is going to go in. He's going to be able to pick up a kill onto Magnus. It looks like Corrupted Disciple going to be in a bit of trouble here as one of the axes connects. There's the Stalagmites, and down goes Corrupted Disciple. A double tap coming out for Chastity. The yellow Miraxis there on the Legion side. So the onslaught continues 8-1, only 10 minutes in here, and it's already getting close to that point where this Hellborn side is really looking to fall, or looking to be pretty far behind here. They banned all those hard carries, and right about now they could use one. You know, they did get have a pretty rough laning phase here, but I don't think Corrupted Disciple is going to be able to carry too hard at this point. Sorry about that. Did miss a kill onto Aluna. Looks like Jonas some fun here on that Pebble's going to be able to combo him down. And yeah, pick up another kill. In the mid lane, though, we see some initiation onto Torture. Oh, Midas going to miss the combo. That's a little bit painful. Support's going to come in. Electrician going to get turned around on. Looks like he's going to fall. Parasite up in the front lines. Looking to set something else up as well. That's not going to happen, but now Mirax is going to be the one to go straight in. Keep in mind, he doesn't have an ultimate up right now. Needs to be a little bit careful. Midas going to get taken down. Just a little bit too much damage. And you can sort of see how much of a squish bag Midas is right there as he gets totally dropped. Pretty straightforward game, though. I mean, this is pretty one-sided in favor of Team Dogs. I have to say, I'm not too surprised. Not only by looking at their draft, but also we do recognize some names over here. Sequence, Jonas and Fawn, Architiger. 3 names that do jump out at me. Chastity and Heartskate. They sound familiar, but I can't quite place them. Regardless, you know, so sort of the favorites, no big deal. You know, in an open tournament, that's sort of the way things go. You know, Clan Milk did have a really nice turnout. I think we sitting on like 160 teams, something like that. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount. I think the most we've ever had in an It's Gosu tournament. It's like 80 or something like that. I mean, 160 is just incredible. I mean, granted, we've never had an open tournament with a prize pool nearly as much as 2,500. We've done that over the course of a month, but never just in one big lump sum. So it's pretty cool to see that many teams coming out. So naturally, in these early rounds, that means there is going to be a round of 256 if at least 128 of those bad boys checked in. So it's just more stuff to keep in mind here, as the early rounds certainly will be a little bit more stomp heavy than we're used to. Where instead of starting the round of 32 here, being in the round of 256. So plenty of early round matches that we should expect kind of one-sidedness. Of course, we didn't see a kill there onto Magnus yet again. Unfortunately, Soulstorm kicked on quite a bit here. Pebble's enjoying that newly fashioned portal key. Is going to be able to pick up another kill for himself in the mid lane here. His farm has just been out of control. This is the kind of Pebbles games that I like, when you just get out of control and it's easy kills. Just below 500 GPM. Here we see Torture making an interesting pickup. It's going to go ahead and grab that Grave Locket. Of course, just now implemented in the tournament mode. with that, I guess it was the most recent patch, the one that had the Sackstone rework, actually bringing Gravelocket into tournament mode. So that's pretty cool. We should be seeing it kind of an increasing frequency here. I think it's a pretty powerful item, and especially on supports. And even here, players like, or heroes like Torture, I should say, very powerful item. There's some fun. Now Legendary picking up another kill. They're actually going to get engaged on as Electrician executes the grip, and a little bit rough for Pebbles, and Miraculous is going to come in with a beautiful Quake. Pebbles going to turn around and may cost him his life. Oh no, maybe not. Is going to cost Electrician his though. Parasite coming in. He is on an onslaught streak now. The Tier 1 tower is still alive, actually. Going to do a hell of a lot of damage here. Midas going to come in. Going to be able to pick up a kill on the sequence to end that Savage 6 streak. But unfortunately, the rest of the team is going to come in. Pebbles going to PK in. And that's going to be the end of Midas. So, yeah, I think we're at that point where this game is over. Just a matter of time till they push their way to the base. Still at the 14-minute mark. I hate to say that before they can even officially concede to tap out. It feels so slimy, but 18-2, like I said, what you gonna do? They ain't afraid of no ghosts. Just going all to the wall here. There are a lot of problems on the Hellborn side. I think part of the problem here was just their draft in general. The way they decided to execute that. The tri-lane, just not the best tri-lane setup. Midas solo mid, not the best solo mid hero. They definitely had some other options. A little bit disappointing, but I do give them props for trying the Midas. I will say he is a hero that does have some opportunities. I think he is pretty weak, though. I think there was some overreaction to Midas when he was really overpowered, and they nerfed him a little bit too hard. I think they need to come back a little bit on his armor. But I would like to see Midas. I don't miss seeing Midas every single game, but I would love to see more Midas than we do now. So, I do give them props for trying to experiment a little bit. There's going to be a kill onto Magnus up here. It looks like Parasite the one to go with him for. Instead of Pebbles, in comes the Leech. Sequo's going to pick up another kill now, sitting 9-1-2. We are past that 15-minute mark now, so that time to concede is among us. Wow, and just as I say that, there is the GG Wellblades come out. And a quick first game for us today, guys, but what you going to do? Like I said, that's the way the open tournaments go. So we're going to get into another game pretty quickly. We'll pull up the brackets here and see what potential matches could be coming ahead of us. So, plenty more HoN to come.